What's up, guys? Quantric So 2 here with another edition of What's New Payback. WWE's Payback pay-per-view just went off the air, and it was a pretty decent show, and I'm going to run down exactly all the results for you right now. Basically, we're going to kick off with the WWE pre-show. Oops, my bad. The kickoff. I guess that makes it sound more important for the superstars as in the match. It was Sheamus for going one-on-one with Damian Sandow. I didn't really watch this match, but I saw the highlights in the pay per view. Basically, let's just say it ended with a brogue kick, but I'm pretty sure there was some pretty cool spots in there too. But I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the pre-show. So after that, the pay per view began with the Intercontinental Championship. Now we know that Fandango had a concussion, so he was replaced by none other than Curtis Axel, Paul Heyman's newest client. So it was Curtis Axel versus The Miz versus the Intercontinental Champion Wade Barrett, and basically a pretty good starter for a pretty good first match for the pay per view. A lot of everybody hitting their signature, basically the signature stuff. A lot of close falls, but in the end, it was probably one of the most unique endings I've seen in a while from from a match, especially for a match where a title's on the line. Basically, Miz had Wade Barrett in the figure four leg lock, and Curtis Axel when Wade Barrett's shoulders was on the mat when he was trying to reverse the hold. Curtis Axel came over to Wade Barrett while he was stuck in the figure four and covered him so he couldn't get up. So 1, 2, 3, he got his shoulders pinned to the mat. He did not tap out to the figure four leg lock, and by that, Curtis Axel became the new Intercontinental Championship, and it's really cool that this happened. Like I said in my previous video, that this would happen on Father's Day. The late great Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig, probably one of the greatest Intercontinental champions of all time. To see his son, hold that championship on Father's Day, it had to, be a really heartfelt moment for Joe Hennig, aka Curtis Axel. So that was really, really cool. After that, it was the Divas match, which was actually really, really good. I mean, wow. When the last time we had a really good Divas match that actually, I was getting into, I actually was really intrigued by this matchup. Caitlyn and AJ went out there to perform. They really did. I mean, it was just a brawl from the very beginning. I mean, basically, somewhere in the beginning of the match, Caitlyn threw AJ, slung her across the Spanish announce table. There was even a spot where Caitlyn took off AJ's belt and tried to smack her with it or something, and AJ ended up smacking her in the face with the belt and running in the ring, and then she smacked her again with the belt and played dead. She hit the old vintage Eddie Guerrero spot, hitting him with an object, and then both wrestlers being laid out on the ground. That's basically what she did. So that was pretty cool to see her do that. There was one point where actually I thought the match was going to end when AJ put Caitlyn in her Black Widow submission hold, and she was in that for a good at least 3 or 4 minutes in that maneuver. She would not tap out. She countered it and hit her with a bone crushing spear. I mean, AJ, she must be getting the bumps from getting that bumpish stuff. I don't know what to call it from Dolph Ziggler, because she sold the crap out of that spear. I mean, she died. So there was that. Then AJ went to the top rope and tried to jump off, and Caitlyn caught her. A lot of cool stuff. But in the end, AJ put the Black Widow back in, and basically she was in it for a good 2 or 3 minutes, and she tapped out. And AJ Lee is your new Divas champion. I think well deserved. Even though AJ won the match. Kudos to both divas because that was actually a really, really good match. I'm hoping we can see pay-per-view matches like that, in the future. I mean, it was so. I felt like the WWE actually really cared about this match because even after the match, they had like a backstage segment and like an in-ring, thing, like Caitlyn getting up and the crowd cheering for her. And, the divas coming out to, tell Caitlyn that everything's okay. It was pretty cool. So good stuff for the divas. Definitely good stuff definitely for this pay-per-view. After that, we had the United States Championship match. Dean Ambrose putting his U.S. Championship on the line against the Bait Red Machine, Kane. It was a pretty decent match. I felt like, I'm not sure we've seen this match before, but, it wasn't any really, really crazy spots or anything in it, but it was a decent match nonetheless. But the ending, I'd rather to really see Dean Ambrose beat Kane, cleanly, even if it was a roll up or something. But what happened was basically he got a count out victory and retained his championship. I'd rather have seen him beat him like cleanly, but whatever. You can't have everything. One thing about this pay-per-view before I go on, it seemed like every single match had a different type of ending to it, which is actually really, really cool. And this definitely gonna okay, well, all right. Anyway, what am I saying? Anyway, let's get back to the matches. Basically, the next match was the World Heavyweight Championship. Alberto Del Rio defending his Alberto Del Rio versus the returning Dolph Ziggler. So Dolph Ziggler defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Alberto Del Rio. Now this match, I didn't expect it to be really this good, but I thought the crowd, even myself, was into this match, and actually I saw myself actually liking Alberto Del Rio in this match. He was very aggressive. He was kicking. I swear he kicked Dolph Ziggler in the head at least like 20 times in that matchup. Trying to knock him out because he had that concussion. And WWE really put that concussion thing into the match. They really built that match around that, which was actually really, really cool. This match actually reminded me really, really a lot about. It reminded me so much of Stone Cold Steve Austin and Bret Hart at WrestleMania. How like the roles switch. I felt there was the fans switched sides during that matchup. I think the fans actually started to feel sorry for Ziggler. He's trying his best to retain it. He worked so hard to get this championship, and that concussion basically stopped him from performing at the top. But basically Del Rio took advantage of that, and he didn't give a crap. And it kind of felt like a heel turn for Del Rio and somewhat of a face turn for Ziggler. Definitely very, very reminiscent of Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. But that match was really, really good. Basically, even Ricardo even felt like he was going heel, and then basically Del Rio beat Ziggler for the championship, and that was it. Basically, Ziggler's dreams, his championship dreams, went up in smokes. The crowd did not like it. The crowd was booing and everything. But I really think this is going to be a really good story. It's a perfect time. If you're going to turn Ziggler face, this is the perfect time to do it. It makes sense because Ziggler's been away for so long, and Del Rio's been wrestling every single week, so it makes more sense for him to actually beat Ziggler because Ziggler's not 100%. It's a really good story. I think they're going to hopefully continue it correctly on Raw. This tomorrow night, and then we had CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, Best in the World Part 3. CM Punk coming home to his hometown of Chicago. He's hyped up. He's basically, it felt a lot like Money in the Bank. In 2011, he coming out and the crowd's going crazy in Chicago. Very, very, very good match. I mean, it's basically if you put the WrestleMania match and the Extreme Rules match together, without the Extreme Rules stuff, basically. That's basically what it was. It was a really, really entertaining match. Counters, and CM Punk jumping off of the ropes and hitting him with a cobra, and then Chris Jericho hitting him with a code breaker. So many different counters, but the ending was really, really cool. CM Punk had GTS Y2J1 until he bounced off the corner, and then caught him in the GTS again and hit him with another knee to the face. and he beat him. So once again, CM Punk gets the best of Y2J. But it was some points in that match where CM Punk was kind of, he was with the fans, yet he was trying to listen to Paul Heyman too. So Paul Heyman was kind of it felt like they're gonna go somewhere where CM Punk turns face and Paul Heyman's gonna kind of turn on him. That's what it felt like. But that match was actually really good, probably one of the best matches on the card. After that, we had the WWE Tag Team Championship match. Once again, a lot of story built around these matches, especially this one. We know that Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton do not like each other, and they really built that up even more, because it was one point where Daniel Bryan did his vintage suicide dive, and Randy Orton got in the way and actually took it. And then towards the end of the match, Randy Orton was going for hit the RKO, and then what happened? Oh man, I'm trying to think. He hit the RKO on Roman Reigns, and then what's the name? Seth Rollins threw him out the ring, hit the what's it called, the what's the name of the move? The stomp. It's basically the curb stomp. There you go, the curb stomp. He hit the curb stomp on Daniel Bryan, and they retained their titles. But there was one point where Randy Orton actually did something Randy Orton actually did something to Daniel Bryan, but I can't really remember what that was. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna build off that more. And at Money in the Bank, we're gonna see Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan in a one-on-one match. I definitely feel that's coming. Speaking of the Money in the Bank, big news, which I'm gonna make a whole different video about this, but the whole weapon show RVD will be returning to the WWE at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I'm not going to say more about that because I'm going to make a separate video about that tomorrow. So, yeah, basically RVD's coming back. That's good news. Then we had the main event. It was John Cena versus Ryback in a 3 Stages of Hell match. Pretty good, definitely a solid match. It was basically their last match, really. Especially at the beginning, basic, both men hitting their, vintage moves. But it was a really cool spot where John Cena went on the top rope and all the lumberjacks were in one spot, and he actually splashed, and everybody fell down. It was literally 30 people fell down. I mean, that was a really, really cool spot. So John Cena lost the first. Actually, Ryback won the first fall after hitting Shell Shock, and then the second fall, John Cena put Ryback through a table with the AA. And man, it was points where Ryback he was ready to really kill John Cena. He threw the steps onto the. He broke at least two or three tables, man, with the steps, and that was pretty crazy. But anyway, moving on. Then we came down to the final fall, which was the ambulance match, which was really cool. It kind of reminded me of towards the end, kind of reminded me of an action movie. They were on top of the ambulance, and John Cena actually took the lights from off the ambulance and smacked Ryback in the head with it, and he still got up and came after John Cena. He hit him with a crutch. I believe the door from the ambulance got taken off the hinges. The hinges when John Cena Irish whipped him into it. They used that. Even Ryback even picked a piece, took a chunk out of the ambulance and hit him with it. But it all ended with John Cena, basically, John Cena Ryback on the top rope, and he AA'd him into, not off of it, but into the ambulance, which I actually called. That was my prediction for that matchup, that he would do something like that, and he did. I just thought he was going to throw him off of it, but he threw him in it. So, that's the only difference. Nonetheless, John Cena is still your WWE champion. Solid pay-per-view, guys. Payback was, probably not the pay-per-view of the year, but it was definitely solid. Every single match was pretty entertaining with a different twist and ending to every single one of them. And every single match is going to build to something later down the line. So, I give it about 4 stars. Anyway, guys, Quantrix02 signing out. Subscribe, comment, rate. Stay gold, everybody. Peace.